Hello YouTube world, it's me again. Thanks for joining me today, and this one's going to be a good video. I know you're going to like this one, and I hope you get as much pleasure watching this as what I do making it for you. Anyway, today I'm going to share with you something really unique and very special. A very good friend of mine yesterday was going through his attic at the previous address and found some rather interesting items that he said to me he weren't sure what they were. He wasn't an expert on them, but could I have a look at them, and if so, would I like them? So what I'm going to show you today is pretty unique. So I'll show you, and the other purpose of this video is not only to show you the items, but also people out there watching this video, I would really seriously appreciate your advice and some feedback on what I'm about to show you, because some of them I know a little bit about and some of them I don't, and you might obviously have some insight into what needs to be done. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to show you what I was given. And the story behind what I'm about to show you is that when my friend was a bouncing newborn baby, his dad, who was in the Royal Navy, decided to go out and buy his son a train set, hoping that as he got older he would be into it. And this is about sort of 1956, early 50s sort of thing. I'll give you a clue. Anyway, so the first thing I'm going to show you, which is quite interesting, is one of these. I have to get out of the box, it's quite heavy, but it weighs an absolute ton. That is a Graham FARISH GP5 general purpose loco, or standard black 5 model. It's a very crude, very I think it's not tin plate, it's like an alloy metal, like a zinc, I would imagine, but it's extremely heavy. And I'm just going to bring this camera down a little bit so I can show you what's going on with this, because this thing absolutely weighs a ton, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to work. I haven't actually tested this yet, so I'm not sure if it's going to work, but this is the condition I received it in. It's permanently coupled and joined underneath, as you can see with the drawbar there. There's a permanently screwed connection, and interestingly enough, when I first flipped this over, what I was expecting to see was two shoes there, it being 3 rail. It's not. It's got these two plunger type collector shoes on the tender, as you can see there, and it led me to believe that this obviously is a 2 rail model, but why would it need plungers? Surely they'd figured out how to pick up through the wheels. So when I look very closely, I could see the manufacturer's name, Graham FARISH. It's a British made model, and Graham FARISH, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Graham FARISH went on to be quite a pioneer in the N-gauge range, and I think to this day they still make quite a lot of N-gauge stuff. But this is a nice model. As you can see, the paint condition's in pretty good condition. It's quite basic. I mean, there's no super detail like the modern stuff you get these days, but it's got a certain charm to it. A little bit of wear on the line and wheel decal on the tender there, but I honestly thought this was a 3 round loco. I thought it was a Hornby 00 model when I first clocked eyes on it. He sent me pictures of this on his phone, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. From the pictures I thought instantly it's got to be, because of its chunkiness, and he said it's quite heavy, it's got to be a Hornby 00 3 round model. And that was the surprise. What I think is quite unique about this is what's inside the tender. This was the shock that my friend and I got yesterday when I took this tender body off. I just can't believe this. This is quite scary. Look at that. That is a beast of an armature in there. My goodness. Let me zoom that in for you guys. What do you think at home? Seriously, that's a big old beefy little transformer in there, isn't it? That's a big wound armature, that is. very big. And obviously the mechanism, this is about I think about 1950s or whatever, maybe before, could be wrong. I don't know the exact date of this model when these were produced. That's why I'm asking you in this video to, hang on, let me zoom out a little bit. That's why I'm asking you guys and girls at home in the UK and around the world even, if you've got one of these or had one of these since you were a kid, do you know anything about these? I don't know nothing about Graham FARISH models, particularly this version, and I'm not quite sure when this type of drive system or loco was manufactured. I've tried to look online, doesn't give that much information, but it's very, very, very unique. Obviously, I imagine the field winding here just somehow drives that mechanism, and then you've got a drive shaft in between the tender and goes into the loco that drives the wheels. It's a very, very chunky mechanism for something like that. I mean, I thought the Airfix models were bad, but I mean, my goodness, it's towing a bloody mobile generating station by the looks of it. Dear oh dear, look at it. That don't look very safe to me, does it, for little kids? Seriously. I mean, I don't know about you guys at home, but I mean, I'd be a bit weary about being touching that. I assumed that this would have run off 12 volts, but I was told, obviously, from what I know of from my Hornby book of 00 trains, which is based on the 3-rail stuff and the early stuff, I think when these trains first came out, electric trains first came out, they ran off sort of quite high voltages, and they were quite scary, and there was all these sort of horror stories about cats at Christmas time stepping over the track and getting zapped and stuff like that, and I don't know. But this just seems quite a chunky mechanism for something like this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, it's quite intricate. It's also very, very historic, I think, so that's quite unique, and it's antique looking. I like things like that, so even if I couldn't get this working again, it'll be a nice little collectible item, I suppose. Anyway, let's pop that back on there like that, and I'm going to solder the wires that are on, because there's a couple of wires underneath here. As you can see, there's one flapping in the air. That just goes inside there, so my idea is to solder it and then put some voltage feed into it and see what happens. The actual loco mechanism underneath is very crude but basic. You've got the middle wheels here. These have tyres on them, if you can see that at home there. These have tyres and also a geared wheel, so you can turn that by hand. A little bit of resistance there. And I can feel and see that drive shaft in the middle there. You can see that turning where the tender is, or the drawbar is. That's obviously doing that. These rubber tyres are looking a little bit worn, so I'm not sure about that. On the whole, it's, a little bit of paint damage there to the cylinders, but other than that, it's quite a nice model. It's just quite unique, I think, and you've got these big unusual couplings there at the end. These are another trademark of Graham FARISH, I believe, but they, come on camera, there we are. These really overscaled, chunky, almost O-gauge like couplings. That's really, really, it's very odd. But I'm thinking this is just after the war, probably. It's got to be sort of late 40s, early 50s, this model, at least. It was catalogued, I believe, as a GP5, as mentioned, which is a general purpose loco. It's based on a Stania Black 5, obviously, at the time. Overall, I think it just needs a little bit of a clean up. I think, obviously, my friend's father at the time added real coal to the tender top, which I pointed out to my friend yesterday when he was looking at it all, and he didn't even notice that, so that was quite nice. But that's real coal. But it's a nice model. It's not too bad. It's a little bit crude in some places, but it's quite appealing to the eye, so I quite like it. And it'd be nice to get it going, and it'd be even more nice if I could run it on the layout. That would be interesting. Anyway, moving on to the next item of interest. If I just bring the camera up a little bit. Right, let's put that to one side there. Now moving on, what else did we find in my friend's attic? Well, we found a load of this stuff, which is Triang Super 4 track, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. I think that's obviously where his father soldered some wires on there at the time to connect up to a beefy transformer of the day. But as you can see, it's in pretty good nick. It's in pretty good condition. Sleepers are intact. The rail itself is in very good condition. Needs a wipe over with a little bit of a lighter fluid, or even just a rail rubber would tie that up, I would imagine. But it's in good condition. As you can see, it's mint. Look. Personally, I haven't got any Super 4 track ever, so this is the first time I've handled this stuff. And what I like about this Super 4 track, it's vintage, but also it's quite chunky. It's very, very chunky. In fact, it's nothing to do with scale. It's proper toy train set track. It's very chunky. It's flexible as well. Anyway, that's that. What else have we got in our box here? Oh, we've got one of these. So, Triang Railways. I think it's a gondola, I'm not sure. It's a long freight wagon of some sort. As you can see, one side of the decals is intact. TR for Triang Railways 3576. And then if we look on the other side of it, Triang Railways, and the TR 3576 bit is a little bit faded, which is a bit of a shame, but that's okay. Inside's not too bad. A little bit. It's obviously very dusty where it's been up in his attic. Underneath there, wheels seem okay. Need a little bit of clean. But look at these unusual couplings. These are very odd, aren't they? These must be the early Triang ones compared to the Hornby Triang ones. Because when they went over to Hornby Triang, you had the standard decouplings. So that's interesting. There's a guy on YouTube, Oscar Paisley. I'm thinking Oscar Paisley, and also John's Amazing Trains. You know, Champs 1, 2, 3. He's probably going to be, both you fellas out there, if you ever see this on the floating about this video I'm making, you'll probably be able to give me more insight on this, because you guys are majorly into Triang and stuff like that. Who else? Mark Filcher, I think he's a fella out there that's into Triang, people like that. So again, if anyone's watching this who knows a lot more about Triang than I do, please just give me a message. I'd love to find out a little bit more about the vintage of this stuff and when it was actually designed and made. I'm not too up on Triang. Hornby I am, but certainly Triang I'm a little bit sort of new to this area. I've only started to get Triang stuff recently. Anyway, so we've got one of those, and this is the interesting stuff coming along now. These are Graham FARISH wagons, and these are made again of zinc alloy. And the interesting thing about these wagons are, again, you've got these oversized coupling, but look at these cast buffers. I like these. Look at these buffers. They're very nice. I really do like those buffers. They were available as a separate pack to fit on should you break them, because I know that I've got loads given with me the other day from what I collected or was given. But look, you've got a working handbrake that moves up and down. Alright, doesn't do anything, but that's quite a nice little touch, isn't it? That's on both sides. That's intact. But the sad thing about it is, if you look at the underframe chassis, where the leaf springs are and where the wheels sit in, on both these sides there you see it's corroded, and unfortunately this was the sad state of affairs with all the wagons that I mostly got. I'm going to show you in a minute. And the reason I found out why these are corroded, nothing to do with so much with age, is that it's made with the same zinc alloy that unfortunately Hornby had a problem with more recently in this decade. Mazuk rot, I think it's called. It's where a really cheap alloy is produced with zinc and whatever chemicals are used, and there's a very bad reaction in the manufacturing process, and it breaks off like toffee. It gets very brittle and it just breaks. And this is exactly what's been happening with these wagons. They're just crumbling to pieces because of the poor quality of the alloy. So in layman's terms, these frames on these wagons, they're very brittle. So obviously if you move them too much, they will snap off and break off, as we found out yesterday when we was going through the box of different bits and pieces. But I thought that's not too bad. That's quite nice. Again, I don't think I'm going to run this on the layout. It's just purely, I think, just to collect, and just I don't know what I'm going to do with it, to be honest with you. Again, another one of these wagons, and these do move. These coupling bars, they moved a little bit left and right. There you go. They're designed to move, but I'm not going to play with those too much because they'll probably snap off with how old they are. This one's had replacement wheels. But they're quite nice. Again, see the buffers broke off there on that one. That snapped off, but I've got some spares that I was given with these, so they're quite easy to super glue on there. That's not a problem. But they're quite nice little cast items, I think. They're quite nice. Just need a little bit of oil. And that's just one there without no wheels. I'm just going to basically put this all out so I can show you exactly what I've got. So this is a plastic body. It says Trackmaster on the bottom. I'm guessing that's Triang. We got another wagon, another Graham FARISH wagon, and this nice little, look at that, this beautiful little NE based guards fan. A little bit of paint wear on there, but for sort of 1956 onwards, I mean, that's not in bad condition, is it really? You could easily touch that up with a little bit of paint or leave it as. I imagine it's lead based paint as well on there, actually. Wouldn't be surprised. And you can see right through there, look at that. Isn't that nice? Again, it's got a missing buffer on there which I can super glue on with the spares I was given. The underside, the wheels are okay. These are Triang wheels by the looks of it, actually, because they're split axles. Again, I might be wrong. If I am, you can correct me out there. Again, these underframe chassis and what hold the axles in place, they're a little bit fragile, so I'm not going to play with those too much. They're in place, but they're very, very, very old, so I'm not going to play around with those too much. It's a shame, really. But it says on the bottom there, if we can read that. Can we read it or not? I'm not sure. There we go. Graham FARISH, Bromley, Kent. So we've got one of those. What else have we got? Well, we've got some more Graham FARISH grey wagons this time. That one's okay. That one's broken. That one's in a shocking state. And that one's in a shocking state. So again, I don't know what to do with these, I really don't. The only thing I think of, because obviously these are very old, I could get chassis kits from like someone like Daypole even, and just strip this completely and just put this on a Daypole wagon frame or something like that, retain the buffers and the rest of it and just have that as it is. Maybe that's one option, is to kit bash or modify the chassis for these, so we can put some new chassis underneath, basically from a model kit or a specialist component part if I want to do it later on. These couplings I probably traditionally would keep on there because I think they're quite nice. They're a bit overscale, but I just like them. I think they're quite unique, and it adds to a bit of character. So I might probably do that, but definitely if you look at this example here, this one's going to have to go at some point. These will have to be taken off, cleaned off and filed, and just got rid of and just cleaned up. Get rid of all this crap on here because this is actually crumbling due to the brittleness of the alloy. It's just not stood the test of time and it's broken up, obviously. Not fantastic. I've also got a coupling missing on that, which I'm not sure if we can replace that or do whatever. Like I said, it's just a little bit of a project. Okay, that's that. I'm going to stop it now and just move on to the other items that we have. So stay with me for part 2. Okay guys and girls, welcome back to part 2. So moving on, I'm going to show you what else we got in our little attic treasure hunt yesterday. And I don't know what these are, but maybe you can enlighten me out there in the YouTube world what these are. These are little sidecars or little motor cars of some sort. So obviously there was a wheel there, I'd imagine. You've got a little figure sitting in there. And you've got these 2 prongs on the side there. Obviously an axle or some sort went through there into something else. And I'm not quite sure what that is. Was it part of a fairground ride? I don't know. So obviously there's the little car, sidecar, whatever it is. I think there's a sidecar. Obviously there's the wheel, and that would have gone onto the motorcycle bit there. So we've got one of those. Another one of those. And we've got some more. And another one, which makes 4. Now, like I said, I'm not sure what these are. Whether there was a motorcycle attached to there. That one's got a little bit of damage to the side there, but overall I'm not sure what these are. It's baffling me. I've tried to do a Google search late last night on Google to find out what these are, but if anyone out there knows what these are or had these as a child and knows what they're from or what they go up to or what it fits to, please message me below in the comment section, because I really want to find out what these are for. They're nice little items, you know, even if they're not dysfunctional at the moment. They're just I'm holding something in my hand which belongs to a child in the sort of maybe late 40s, early 50s, and these are just really nice. So I'm not sure what they are. So that's those. And this is nice. This is lovely. This is a petrol pump filling station, complete with the 3 pumps and the attendant there. And this one's a bit more later. This is actually made by Lesney Toys, which was part of Matchbox. And when I lived in East London, just down the road in Hackney, by Hackney Marshes, was the Matchbox Lesney factory. So I do remember those. This would have been an item probably that came out in the 60s, I would imagine, something like that. That's nice though, isn't it? And it's 00 scale as well, so I mean that might come in handy for the old layout. So I'm well pleased with that. That's brilliant. A military marching band trumpet player. It's actually the Queen's band, I think. It's got the old bearskin hat on the front there, but a little bit corny, I know, but it was interesting because when I flipped it over, he told me, he said, look on the bottom, and Kellogg's cereals. Now my mum told me the same story as what my friend told me, that years ago, in sort of back in the day when Kellogg's first brought out cereals in this country, in the UK, you used to get a free toy in each packet in a little clear bag, and I think this was where it came from. So that's nice. I know it's not 00 scale, but I'll probably just hang on to that. That's quite nice. But look at these. Now these are absolutely lovely. These signals, look at that. Now look at these. I'm not sure which company made these, but these are very fine scale semaphore signals. The post material is like a white metal, and look at this beautiful mechanism here. Look, it's the same as a Hornby, but I mean it just seems more fine scale. As you can see, But look at this, guys. Look at the spectacle plate on top. That spectacle plate actually has coloured glass inside there. So that is really nice. I like that. Now, I'm not sure if these are Western region signals or Eastern region signals, either way, but these are definitely going on the layout somewhere. I should be able to fit those up. So we've got two of those. I'll put those to one side actually. Now this next item that I was given in the attic find, I was told this is an old cigar container that you put cigars in. It's wooden, and it's belonged to my friend's dad, and he said the cigar's no longer in here, but inside was quite a few interesting bits and pieces. So let's have a look. So if I just do this, and we can see, take the top off. Hey, and then guess what? There's some more Kellogg's soldiers, a whole army of them. Oh look, there's my favourite. Look, that man's got the cymbals. That's got to be my favourite because he's a drummer, like me. So we could have him there. He can be Ringo. Look, we got a tuba player. Oh look, this could be Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, couldn't it? Look, we've got the trumpet player, two tuba players, fella on the cymbals. And they're quite cute actually. A little bit crude, but very cute. Surprisingly well detailed actually, these, for whenever they came out. These were definitely not a 1970s thing. These came, I reckon, from easily the 50s. Again, you know, with the Kellogg's cereal logo on the bottom of these. So these could be collectible. A little bit faded, but I mean, quite nice. Anyway, I'll put those to one side. What else we got in this cigar tube? Let's have a look, shall we? Right, we've got some bits and pieces in here. So we got some wire. I suppose that come in handy. But look at these. Now look at these street lamps. Look at those. Now those are nice. Again, we could just plonk those in the baseboard, couldn't we? And even so, paint these. These would be nice painted black. They'd be quite nice. I do like those. So we've got one of those there. We took it all out. See what goodies we got in here. It's just a random collection of bits and pieces in here, so I'm not quite sure where to begin, so just bear with me. You're watching this as I'm doing it, so, but I'm being very careful because a lot of the stuff is very old and it can be broken, so I don't want to do that. Right, that's the cigar tube empty now, so we can just dispose that one side. Right, what we got? Right, well obviously we've got one street lamp. We've got another one here, or actually several. That one's missing its ornate framework there, but that's okay, we can still get past that. That's lovely. Oh, we've got a nice swan neck light there. That's nice. Oh, we've got one of those as well. Another one of the nice street lights. What else we got? Sifting through this, I can see we've got quite a few of these wheels, so these are just like spare Triang wheels by the looks of it. Yeah, these are Triang and FARISH wheels. Load there, load there. Oh, that's nice, just noticed that. Isn't that nice? That goes with, where is it? Oh, that goes with that, doesn't it? That goes with the fuel pumps. And it's Leslie again, so that's a Leslie product. A little bit of damage there on the decal of the SA decal there, but on the whole it's in reasonably good condition, so that's okay. I'd like to know when these were made actually. I probably will find out somewhere. Those to one side, and like I said, just odds and ends. I mean, you've got kids' toy dinosaurs again. I bet, what's this out of? An Ichthyosaurus, or whatever it is. I imagine that was a Kellogg's job, by the sounds of it. What have we got here? Another dinosaur. I thought that was the old German flipping symbol there. It's not actually, it's a dinosaur. It's one of them pterodactyl mother-in-law bird things. Oh, yeah, there's the mother-in-law. No, it's too small for the mother-in-law. Not big enough teeth. Don't you listen, you young people out there, giving you bad ideas. Right, so we've got all our wheels there. Yeah, these are all different spare Grand FARISH, and the plastic ones are the Triang ones. So yeah, just loads of wheels. What else we got? A couple of little short lights, that's quite nice. Here's another one. Ah, some road signs, look, oh look. No, I haven't got any of these. Now, although these are plain, they're unpainted, we can actually fill those in. For example, the little fence symbol, the bits that should be red on there, I've got some red paint, so that can be easily done. That's quite nice, that come in handy. Got some more road signs here, what we got? Road narrows, that's quite good. What else we got? And what's this one say? Crossroads. Road sign, not the programme. Well, I'm going back there. Anybody listening to that comment? Crossroads. Who used to watch Crossroads? With Benny and his silly app. Speed limit 15 miles an hour. It's about the speed for my jokes, I suppose. No right turn. I would imagine there'd been a decal on there. It's come off. No entry. These just basic road signs. That's obviously a national speed limit. That could also double for a banner repeater, couldn't it? And what a banner repeater is, I'll tell you what a banner repeater is. A banner repeater is basically a version of one of these. This is what's called a distant signal, or a distant repeater signal. This is basically giving advance warning to a driver of a train. I mean, if it's in that position, be prepared to stop at the next signal, because the next signal could be at danger. And what a banner repeater is, it's like that. You might have seen these on stations or on pieces of curved railway. Normally at stations you get them. And if it's like that, it's normally in the off position. It means that the signal ahead is okay to proceed or clear. If it's horizontal, i.e. like that, flat, going across that way, it means the signal's on. But you might know that, and for those of you out there that do know that, just bear in mind there's people watching this that don't know that. So there we are. So anyway, as you can see, we've just got loads of odds and ends here in the collection. So it's just probably got a lot of. Is that a lollipop, or is it actually a Belisha beacon, a Pelican Crossing light? But it's the right idea, but they just basically haven't really bothered with the black and white chevron stripes going down it. So it could be a rather oversized lollipop for somebody, couldn't it? Anyway, anything else of interest in here? Yes. Now, I had this all out on my friend's kitchen table yesterday. What you're seeing here in front of me, if you're still with me, and we was just looking through bits and pieces, and some of it I was interested in, some I wasn't too interested in, but this caught my eye. Now, a few weeks ago, I was after one of these. Look at that. Ain't that something? Isn't that lovely? It's a nice little water crane, and I could do with one of those. You've got the Fire Devil there, and then you've got the drain there as well. And look at this little separate chain. Ooh. Oh, that's lovely. This is a little bit of rubber on there that's perished. I would imagine we just get some insulating sheathing for some cable and just cut a bit off and super glue on there, and that will double as a leather hose, if you follow what I'm saying, and that should be okay. It comes in 2 parts, so that's okay. So we can fit that on there, and if need be super glue that permanently in place. That's lovely though, isn't it? I don't know who made this, but it's very well made. It looks like it's a brass kit that's been sprayed or painted. I think painted, but I'm very impressed with that, so I like that. That will come in very handy in my steam shed. And that pretty much is about it. It's got, oh, by the way, we've got a few of these buffers here, which is the Graham FARISH buffers that go on the end of the wagons and the locos and so forth. They're not spring loaded, obviously, they're just dummy, but what I liked about these, they're nice castings. If you can see that there, they're quite nicely machined. So yeah, those are quite nice. What else have we got? For some strange reason, a packet of Hornby, beg your pardon, these are Pico rail joiners. And look at this, look how vintage they are. BTs, which is no longer in existence in this country. It was a very, very well known model shop. BTs, and look at this, look at the price. 18p. It's no longer 18 pence now, that's the end figure. And what I like about it on the back is it says the following. It says for the complete Pico range, see the catalogue price, 20 pence for a catalogue from your model shop, or by post 27p. Price quoted July 73. So 1973 in July, you could pick up a catalogue from Pico for 20p, and for 2 pence less you get yourself a pack of rail joiners. Wow. Now they're handy actually, because I don't often use those, but if I'm ever going to lay any more track in future, at least I know I've got some of those. So that's all good. Anyway, I'm going to stop it again, and then I'll show you the final part, which is the creme de la creme. So I hope you're ready for the next bit. Stay tuned. Right, welcome back to the last and final part of this video, and I've saved the best for last, and we've got some very interesting things to show you. So here they go. Triang. Wow, and look at the box. The box is in absolutely mint condition. And this is R224, British Railways BR, that is, restaurant car. So let's just unbox this and have a little look. It's a nice box though, isn't it? Very retro. Built in Britain by Rovex Scale Models Limited. And it says on the side of it, Precision Scale Models. So they were very proud of their products in those days. And again, it was a good British product. It wasn't made overseas like most stuff is these days. And we take it out of the box very carefully. This is a nice little item. How about that? Isn't that lovely? You see this absolutely in mint condition. Not a scratch on it. Absolutely beautiful. Turn it round and look at this side. It always amazed me with Triang coaches how short they were compared to the scale versions you get these days, even by Hornby Triang and Lima later on, and then obviously Hornby. But how short their coaches were. I've no idea as to why, but all their rolling stock was very short and stubby. But they've got the actual colours right. Blood and custard. The lining, there's a little very thin, fine black line that runs down between the border of the blood and custard colours down the edge of the bodywork of the coach there. That's just about visible. The 2001 number on the side, just about visible, and the restaurant car lettering is still on there. The ends are in pretty decent condition. The other side is in good condition. I love these blue curtains, I think these are nice as well. It's actually got tables in there, you can actually see that. Maybe you can or maybe you can't, but there you go. Very nice. If we flip it underneath, you can have a little look underneath. The wheels seem to be in decent condition. Everything's there. No broken off or damaged bits underneath there, which normally these are quite robust. The only thing that's a little bit odd is these couplings. Again, these must be the first generation ones, because again, these very strange couplings. When you sort of grown up on D couplings and then later on NEM pockets, these are a little bit bizarre, but I quite like them in a way. They're quite unique. So there we go. That's the restaurant car. What else have we got? Oh. This one is another Triang Railways, and it's the R22, which is the SR passenger coach, SR being abbreviated for Southern Railway. So again, these boxes are in nice condition. I've seen these on eBay. Lots of people have got them in this condition, but it's nice to actually get something like this. So that's quite nice. Again, really short, stubby toy train carriages to me. Very short and stubby. I don't know why they made them this short. Compared to, in actual fact, the southern coach is actually physically shorter. Wow, it's even shorter than the restaurant car. Look at that. Yeah, I'm sure this would have been someone's pride and joy. In actual fact, it was my friend's when he was a small boy. But I think, to be honest with you, gauging from the conversation we had about these items when I was unboxing them yesterday at his house, he said I think that my father played with them more than I did. So there's a clue. It's all intact though. It's all there. Oops. So yeah, that's quite a nice item. Again, I suppose that would run on my layout, but I don't really want to put it on my layout, to be honest with you. I'd rather keep it in the box. Not really going to use it, but for collectible purposes I'm going to keep it. Right, what else have we got? Oh, we've got another Triang box down here, and this one is another R22 Southern Railway passenger coach. Now this one's got a slight problem in it, and you'll see obviously why I want to take it out of the box. It's slightly bananaed. It's not the roof. The roof is fine. So if we take the roof off, which these do come off quite easy, he says. There we are. So just on clips there. A little bit of acetate plastic in there. No problem, no harm done. But the actual coach body, it's bananaed in this area here. You might be able to see this on the camera. I'll try and get it for you. You can see there, in this area, it bows downwards. So I can only surmise that something heavy was put on top of the box and it got squashed. To de-banana it, if that's a word we can use, if not, it's a new word, de-banana. That is de-top banana. Anyway, to actually overcome this problem, I'm not sure how to do this, because I'm not sure if this weight in here is a lead-based weight, I would imagine, that runs along this area. The only thing I would surmise is to actually put it in some hot water maybe and bend it that way. I don't know. I don't really want to touch it, to be honest with you, in terms of bending it, because if you start bending things, there's a good chance you're going to start cracking or breaking something off on this, and I don't want to do this, because other than that, apart from the bending it's actually in very good condition, which is a shame. I don't want to touch anything too much on there. Anyway, let's put that back on there. That goes in there. So as you can see, I mean, I could obviously super glue that, put some elastic band, apply some centrifugal force, not centrifugal but long term, but just apply some pressure there with elastic band. And it's possible we could maybe do that, but it's an awful lot of pressure required because it's quite out of shape, as you can see. So anyway, I'll put it back in the box for the time being, and we can keep it to one side for later. Now, save the best for last, as they say. This is a two-part one. I'm just trying to reach down and get the boxes without nothing falling out. Right. Okay. Here's box number one. Unfortunately, the ends of the boxes are not actually present. They're broken off. But look what's inside. Wow. That is a Triang Princess Elizabeth in olive green for 46201. As you can see, the decals there in good condition. And as you can see, you've got the standard Triang big solid chunky gear wheel in the middle there, and I think it's an X04 motor that are in these. Could be wrong. These are on YouTube, people servicing these things, so I've seen those about. A little bit of paint damage. The chimney, it's revealing green paint, which was the moulding originally. That's obviously worn off the black part of the chimney there, which could be painted on if I wanted to. The sides here, as you can see, it's flaking off, revealing the green paint underneath, and this area should be black all the way along. That can be done with black paint, quite easy, very quick and simple job. Same along there, run some black paint over that where that's faded to bring that back into life, and we're good to go. I must confess though, if you look at this crank pin there, you'll see there's a screw missing, and that's because I had to super glue that last night, because I took this apart bit by bit, literally, and I gave the motor inside this a very good clean and service, cleaned all the brushes, cleaned all the commutator, and the oil pads that it came with, I gave those plenty of oil, because I think since 1956 onwards, thereabouts, this model had not been run that well, so it's been in storage for a good while, so it hadn't been run, so it was dry as an old bone. So the first thing I did was took the motor out of this, basically cleaned it all up, gave it a good oiling, and it fired up back into life very, very well, surprisingly. And what I did was take these con rods off and the linkage, and I soaked these in lighter fluid and gave them a very, very good clean. They were very dusty and greasy and so forth, so they got a clean. As you can see now, they're much more shiny and back to their original condition, more or less. But in the process of putting it back together, the retaining screw that you'll see on the other side of this model, which is there, that one that goes into there, unfortunately sheared off inside this wheel, and the thread is now embedded in the wheel there, in the bit that the screws goes in. So that is going to be either a new one of these wheels or a completely sourced second-hand chassis, which I've seen on eBay. You can get them for about as much as maximum, I think it's £25–30 for a brand new engine, which, well, not new, but I mean a complete Princess Elizabeth loco. Basically, one of these you can pick up on eBay in this condition roughly for about £30. I saw one on eBay today, funny enough, in the box, with the proper box, with the tender, 30 quid on eBay in this condition. So they're quite available. So for the time being, I've glued that in temporarily in place so it goes round. It does work and it stays in place. The only thing is though, this particular loco does not run on my layout upstairs, which obviously you've seen. The reason being is, I think obviously number one, these wheels are different, and secondly, where my track is different compared to this stuff, which is Super 4, Triang Super 4 track. It doesn't like the more modern track too much. It has problems on there. It just will not move, and obviously I've got ballast on my track as well. It just doesn't like that too much, and it didn't really want to run. When I put it on the workbench though and applied power to the motor and to the wheels, then yeah, it was fine. It was going round. So I can't see myself, quite honestly, in the future buying enough Triang Super 4 track or whatever track it is to build a complete layout and have another layout. That's not going to happen. I just want to collect this to get it running and working order, and to keep it in its box and to look after it, because someone who cherished it has passed it on to me, and that's exactly what I promised I would do. So that goes back in the box like that until we fix that issue. But the motor in this does run beautifully. It's a nice runner. I actually give it a good clean and it does work. So that's the loco. And then the final box before we wrap up the video is this little small Triang box here, and when we open it up, inside it's the tender for Princess Elizabeth, which is quite nice. And the first thing I noticed about this tender was, number one, these decals here, the lining around the tender, they're faded in some places there, obviously through age. Again, this model was about 1956-57, so it's done really well for its age. So these decals a little bit faded in some places there and there. We turn it round, a little bit faded there. On the back there appears to be some damage to the tender. I'm not sure what's happened there, but it looks a little bit sticking up. That's obviously split there, and I can make out a split down the middle there. However, if we look underneath, this tender's in two parts, because we can see down the middle there, and I'm not sure if you can make this out on the camera, but there's a physical join down the middle of the tender there where it's joined together in two pieces, and these split wheels there. That's a strange little tiny wheel, isn't it? Look at that. Even for a fake wheel, that's a little bit crappy, isn't it? To be honest with you. But the top's nice though. That's in immaculate condition. That really is in nice condition, the top wise. No damage there. So yeah, I mean, it's, if I put it together with this, just to show you, obviously, there we go. Okay, if you notice the ridiculous amount of distance between the footplate and the tender, I think the fireman would have to be John Wayne to jump between the footplate and the tender to get the coal. A little bit unrealistic, and coupled with the short carriages, I suppose in those days it was the business compared to today's stuff, which is immaculately made. But I mean, for its decade and from where it's come from, it is a nice model. So I mean, I'm going to keep this in my possession, and it's a nice thing to keep, and certainly one day I shall get it running. In fact, I've got enough of this track here to make a little simple basic oval, so who knows, I might even do a video of it running if I don't demolish the track in the process. Anyway, guys and girls, it's been a pleasure showing you my little treasures from the attic of my friend that he's kindly given me, and all I can say is I'm very glad to have decent friends like him. Anyway, have a nice day. Hope you've enjoyed the Triang stuff and all the bits and pieces, and like I said, please do, for you older members of the community out there, not in terms of disrespectful comments towards you being old, but the people that are more knowledgeable about Triang and the stuff on here that I've shown, that grew up with the stuff themselves as children, I don't know much about this stuff. Like I said, I'm learning as I go along, as you can see. So if you know about it more than I do, and you know exactly what I've showed you today, you know more about the item, please do, again, as I said before, please do drop me a message underneath in the comment section and let me know what it is and when it was made, at least, and you know, a little bit of history about it. That would be really fantastic. Anyway, that's all from me now. So I'm absolutely gasping for a cuppa, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.